Hey guys, this is Comic Kangaroo here for another week of comics. Sorry this is coming out so late. I was on vacation for a while, but I'm back now, so without further ado, I'm going to start with issue 21 of Venom. This is Savage 6 Part 4, written by Rick Remender and Cullen Bunn, with art by Lan Medina. Now, there was a humongous spoiler in the last issue of Venom, issue 20. Or not humongous spoiler, like humongous plot twist. And I didn't really get it, and I thought it didn't really make much sense, but in this issue they kind of explained it, but there's still an air of mystery to the Crime Master, even though we know who he is now. And I would just have to say that I feel that Savage 6 was probably the weakest story I ever read in the Venom series. I just felt that they didn't give each character enough exposure. For instance, Megatak in this, or Megatok, whatever you call him, he's in this for 3 pages, it looks like, and his way of being killed is pretty ridiculous. I did not like it. I thought Remender and Bunn should have found a better way to execute it. Maybe have had this issue a bit longer with the fight. But, and then, after Megatox defeated, probably the best part of this issue would be Toxin versus Venom. This was really good. This was the highlight of the issue for me. It's really what made the issue. I'm gonna make a spoiler here, so you want to turn off the video if you don't want to hear this. Eddie Brock dies in this, which I didn't like how it happened because Toxin is released from Eddie, or Eddie's released from Toxin. Flash Thompson saves him after setting Toxin on fire. I thought, well, that was cool, you know, they show Flash was willing to take a risk, he's a good guy, and everything, he's still a hero. And right after he saves him, next page, Eddie dies. And I felt it was unnecessary. It was more just, I think, Remender didn't know what to do with the character. And I really didn't like that. I thought it was unnecessary. And it was just, it was weird. I feel like Remender, in the sense, he's not only ending his run, he's more like ending the series. I feel Savage 6 was way too soon to happen, and I think this only happened because Remender found out, or Remender said, I'm leaving the book, I want to finish this up. And so he was trying to give us conclusion with Crime Master. I don't think he wanted to hand it to someone else because he didn't trust anyone else with this, but didn't even work out that well, in all honesty. But alright, so Flash defeats Toxin, like I said. He has a really quick conflict with Jack-o'-lantern, which I actually like the fact they did that, because Flash was like, you know, I'm done with this crap, and he just takes him down. And I really like how he takes him down. Jack-o'-lantern falls into, I think it's like acid, I guess. And I like how they have Crime Master play it off. Really shows he's an asshole, which personally I like in the asshole villains. They're kind of cool. And I like how Crime Master, Remender, when you think about it, they kind of wrote him, Crime Master that is, to sort of be weak. He didn't seem like, what could he contribute when you have symbiotes, a Tetris villain, I guess, a human fly, a psychotic serial killer, whatever the hell Death Adder is, whatever his name is, and they wrote him well, because realistically, he has lots of money, and so naturally he found a good way to spend it, which was on weapons that the symbiote is weak to. I thought that the conflict, however, the conflict ends really quickly. It's a page or two. and some more spoilers, Betty kills her brother in this. And that was extremely predictable, in my opinion. And I don't know, I felt this issue didn't have the same things I loved about Venom for so long. But one of my favorite things is how this issue ends. And Flash is like, I'm coming clean. I'm going to confess everything that's been happening that I've been lying about with the symbiote. And that's what he says to the Secret Avengers. And that's how it ends. And I like that. Venom, it's a shame because this was my favorite book from Marvel. Actually, it was my favorite book last year. And it was my favorite book for a while, with Circle of 4. And after issue 16, this entire Savage 6 story really weakened, I would say. Really weakened for me. But, I guess that's that. Still, it wasn't bad. I would give it a 7 out of 10. It was good, but it wasn't great. And with something like Venom, which was, I'm going to just say, in my opinion, it was the best book for Marvel for a while, you should expect great things, not good things. Okay, so that's that. Next from Marvel is Wolverine and the X-Men, issue 14. This is a AVX tie-in. This is written by Jason Aaron, as always, with art by George Molina. And honestly, this is the only X book I read, because it's the only one I would say I trust, in a sense. I mean, I was going to read X-Men Legacy, because I picked up some back issues, and it was pretty good. But I won't, because I found out it's getting canceled, so I really don't want to read it now. Because I don't really like to read books once I find out they're getting canceled, because it's kind of like, what the point? Not what's the point, but I don't know, I like to commit to a series. Anyway, so I really wish Nick Bradshaw was doing the art. I think he's my favorite artist on the book, in all honesty. He really draws a great Kitty, as you can see on the cover of this. I think he really draws Kitty amazingly. But, this was a really good issue. Jason Aaron wrote a really good issue about Kitty, and I think that, considering the fact this is an AVX tie-in, it was still great, because I think Jason Aaron, he's being, in a sense, forced to do the AVX tie-in, because his book is so mainstream in the Marvel Universe. It's the biggest, or it's, one of the two biggest X-Men titles, along with Uncanny X-Men. And I feel that even being forced into tying in to an event, he still can write a great issue. This focuses obviously on Kitty, but also I really like how he wrote the Phoenix 5 version of Colossus. He really shows that everyone, what they've been saying about the Phoenix, they're becoming godlike, is true. As you see in this issue, Colossus snaps, and he's saying, I am the Phoenix, I am this, I am that. But Aaron really focuses on, I would say, Wolverine's staff, and you really see how Bobby, also known as Iceman, really doesn't like being in the war between the Avengers and X-Men. He doesn't like this fight. And he's realizing that the X-Men, they think they're gods now. And that's not what he thought he was signing up for. He thought he was signing up for a better future with people he knew. And these aren't the people he knew. This is really good. Once again, Kitty and Colossus are having a sort of date night type of thing. And Kitty's saying, things have changed, you're not the same man I loved. And Colossus gets really pissed at that, and he goes back to the school. And you really get a feeling he's going to destroy the school. And he's beating everyone up, and Kitty's like, I'd rather die than let you destroy the school. And Colossus is like, oh, you think that really matters to me? And book is, I would have to say, it was surprising how good it was because of being an AVX tie-in. Aaron, I'm thinking now Colossus is going to change which side he's on, because how this book ends, he's kind of like ashamed of himself. He's like, what have I become? What have I become? And this was one of the... This wasn't the best book this week, but it was a great book. I would give this a 8.5 out of 10. It was great. Best X book. But then again, it's the only one I'm reading, so... Now, here is the third book I picked up. This is the final book I got from Marvel. This is Winter Soldier, issue 8. This is written by Ed Brubaker, with art by Michael Lark. And this is one of, if not my favorite book coming out. I know I said Daredevil was the best Marvel book, but I wasn't, when I made that video, I wasn't remembering, Winter Soldier at the time. Winter Soldier is phenomenal. It is the book for me. It has all the espionage I love. This is the first time I've ever tried Brubaker's run on the Captain America mythos, and he blows it out of the water with this book. So, if you don't know what happened so far, Bucky has 3 sleeper agents he had to deal with in the last story arc. And he took down 2 of them, but he never found the third one. And when he's trying to find him, a lot of things happen. When he finally encounters him, Black Widow is kidnapped. And so we see what happens in this issue. Bucky is stressed as hell. His love interest, Black Widow, is, like I just said, kidnapped. And with a maniac like Leo, he doesn't know what to do. He feels helpless in a sense because there's no leads, there's nothing he can do to save her. And it's really well written, He's trying to get information and he's being really aggressive about it. He's not being a hero in a sense, he's being like an anti-hero. He's going all Moon Knight about it, I guess I could say. He's beating the living hell out of these guys, even when he knows they have no information, because he's so frustrated. But probably the end of this book that I would say is great is Brubaker's new antagonist for the book, Leo, is amazing. He has kidnapped Black Widow, as I said. I'm getting really repetitive, but he's brainwashing her. And he's got this plan going on. We don't know exactly what it is, but so far, a lot of crazy things have happened, including that he has had a faked car accident. He didn't fake it, but he caused a car accident to happen where a dancer named Miss Octavia, apparently, was hit by a taxi cab, and so now she can't perform. And she has now been replaced by, spoilers, I know I shouldn't say that now because I've been spoiling this whole thing, but Natasha, and so apparently she's going by the name Natalia, and the issue just ends like that, and I was like, whoa, that's intense. I'm not sure which I would say was the best book this week, but this is definitely this was the best Marvel book this week. I'll say that right here and now. If you want to read a series, but you don't want to get stuck with all these tie-ins, Winter Soldier is the way to go. It is an obscure book, and I'm really hoping it doesn't get canceled, because it doesn't deserve that. It deserves to fully be played out, and it is phenomenal. I would give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Seriously, guys, pick it up. That's it for Marvel. Now, starting off for DC is my favorite DC book, Aquaman. This is issue 11, written by Jeff Johns with art by Ivan Reyes. Aquaman. This book has done anything but fail to amaze me. It's just amazing. The art is stunning, the story, the characters, it's so compelling, and this book, I'm so glad it's getting a lot of sales too, because this book getting canceled, I think I would just punch a hole through a wall. I'd be that pissed. But Geoff Johns is writing a phenomenal Aquaman mythos. He's taking characters that no one really has ever heard of, because keep in mind the New 52 has a new story, and he's writing them all to be compelling. He wrote a badass Black Manta, an amazing Arthur Curry. Not saying Arthur wasn't great already, but he's wrote a really good Arthur. And this issue is no slouch. Some crazy stuff is happening, and the final conflict with Manta is soon to happen, based on how this ends. Manta has been trying to find a item in Atlantis, I suppose you would say. And at the end of this issue, he finds it. And supposedly this is going to be the item he uses to defeat Arthur with. This book was just great. I mean, Geoff Johns writes all of Aquaman's characters to be compelling in the Others storyline, which is definitely the best story that has come out. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, because it was just phenomenal. I don't want to spoil too much, because I've been spoiling a lot, but the one thing I'm going to say is there's a brief confrontation with Mira and Black Manta in this. If Shin is working with Manta or not is revealed, and we have a new person to appear in the Others. A new member of the Others to appear. So pick this up. I would give this a 9 out of 10. Most of these issues are like 10 out of 10 for me. So this book wasn't bad. This was still amazing, but it wasn't as, great. However, the end makes up for it, in all honesty. It was really empowering. Not empowering, but spectacular. Sorry about my throat. Okay, so next issue for DC, Batman Incorporated issue 3. I really am trying to, go into this book with an open mind, because I have, the first 2 issues, but this issue was not good. It was good, but it wasn't great, and I was surprised, because the first 2 issues were phenomenal. I mean, I love this. I was thinking, with a little more time, this could become actually better than Scott Snyder's Batman. That does not happen with this issue. This issue drops a lot in quality. I felt that the beginning was really good. There's some comedy in this, but other than that, there wasn't much to it. This is the return of Matches Malone in the DC universe. But Grant Morrison, I felt this issue was lacking something. His first issue really showed a great Batman-Robin dynamic. With Batman sort of being resentful towards Damian, and Damian kind of feeling like, I'm better than you think I am. Give me some more credit. And the second issue, really, Grant Morrison really wrote Talia to be a compelling character. Wrote a great... For one issue, he really made me care about Talia, and made me really think she was a great character. And then this issue, the beginning is great because we see more of Leviathan, which I don't really understand what it is. I understand it's like an organization, but keep in mind I've only been reading DC from the New 52. I've picked up some trades of Green Lantern and JLA and Teen Titans, Batman, Robin, but besides that, nothing. So if there's more on Leviathan, please someone leave it in the comments. But I felt this was the weakest issue that I picked up, but this issue, there was something missing from it, I would say. I feel that this issue was kind of weak, and it's a little random, in a sense. I feel there are some confusing things, and the end isn't that intense. I mean, they try to play it out to be like some intense thing, but it's really not. I would give this a 7 out of 10. It was good, or it was decent, but I don't know if I'm going to keep reading the series now, because I feel that this was weak. I might pick up the next issue if that's really good. I'll keep following, but if not, I think I'll drop it. Because of money. Next issue for DC is The Flash, issue 11. Before I read Batman Incorporated issue 3, this was the weakest issue. This was the weakest series I was reading. Or not. I don't know what I'm saying, but I read Batman issue 3 after this, and I thought this was going to be worse than Batman Incorporated, because Batman Incorporated, like I said, was great, and this book has been good. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. And this was one of those great issues. This is the debut of Heatwave in the New 52. And first off, I have to say, I really like the fact Marcus Toe does the artwork in this. I like his art a lot. I think part of me sometimes likes his art more than Francis Manapul's, who writes this book along with Brian Buccello, and Marcus Toe, like I said, does the artwork. And Marcus Toe's art is amazing. He draws a great Flash. I don't like his Barry Allen so much. He doesn't draw the best Barry Allen. Sometimes, some pages he'll look great, some pages he won't, but this book, I like what they did. After Flash jumped into the Speed Force, a lot of things have changed. He's been gone for a while, but apparently there is the Rogues teamed up again, and they split apart, and apparently Captain Cold had to do something with them splitting apart. And Heatwave apparently feels betrayed by him, and he wants revenge. And in this issue, there's a great fight between the two, and actually I'm going to start talking about Barry Allen more, because he is the main character of this. So, because Barry has been, people still think he's dead, and he doesn't know how to explain, I'm not dead. So what he does instead is, he goes to the neighboring city, not Keystone City. He decides to go to, which city is it called? Can't remember what the city's called, but if I do remember it, I'll remember it. I'll mention it. But, I think that, how should I put this? Barry has decided to stay dead, in a sense, to just move on, and he's just going to kind of have a sort of eyes and ears around his city, where he's going to call himself Al, and he's a bartender now, and he's just going to try and get dirt, try and find out what he can about certain things, and try to be the best superhero he can, because he is no longer Barry Allen. He doesn't have a second real life to live. He's just Al the bartender. Sort of a wanderer, I guess you could call him now. But, this issue is great. If you want a jumping on point to Flash, this is it. This is the jumping on point. I really like this issue. This was great. This is a 8.5 out of 10, and, if you've been liking Flash so far, there's no point to stop. This is one of the better Flash issues from what I've read. Finally, for DC, we have Green Lantern New Guardians, issue 11, The Wrath of Larfleeze. This is written by Tony Bedard with art by Tyler Kirkham. This is my second favorite book out of the New 52. It's my favorite Green Lantern title. I read all the other ones, and I didn't like it. This was the one I stayed with when the New 52 started. I've been following it since the beginning. So, that being said, this was my favorite issue in least for DC. This is also my favorite issue of the series. It's great. There's a fight between Larfleeze and the New Guardians, and it's written really, really well, and so are the characters in this. They're really compelling. Probably my favorite thing is the sort of bromance going on between Larfleeze and, not Larfleeze, Arkillo and St. Walker. And this is a great book if you love St. Walker. I like St. Walker a lot, but the reason why I read this is because it has my favorite DC character, Kyle Rayner. And Tony Bedard does a fantastic job writing Kyle Rayner. And this book is, I feel it should get more acknowledgement. I mean, it gets good sales. I think it's in the top, 30 books. But I don't think that's enough. I think the book should get better acknowledgement because it is a phenomenal book. The art is great, the writing is amazing, and in a way, I feel like this was a better Green Lantern book than Green Lantern. I feel it better represents the mythos. Since it really, I feel like this is, it kind of reminds me of Jeff Johns' older Green Lantern run before the New 52, because, there's a lot of stuff happening, there's new villains being introduced, there's new things to add on to the universe, the Green Lantern mythos and everything, and that's happening in this book. I feel this book actually, for the Rise of the Third Army event that happens in October, this book really has a lot of what it's about. I mean, we know about, the Guardians, in a sense, they do not approve of the Green Lanterns. They're sick of a lot of things, and so far, they've outlawed Kyle Rayner, in a sense, and, I don't know why I'm giving a summary of the book, but, yeah, so Kyle Rayner, leading this group, and Larfleeze is written great in this. He really is a great villain, once again. And Invictus also has a great moment. Invictus is godlike in this series. This new character, Invictus, is amazing. He destroys a planet and replaces it. And so, you really have to wonder, how powerful is this guy? He's stronger than Larfleeze, we know that, but I mean, to destroy an entire planet, it's amazing. But I love the cover for this issue too. This is my favorite issue. For me, this is a 9.5 out of 10, I would say. The Glomalus once again appears in this, and he makes a sacrifice to save Kyle, and I like how the New Guardians team up to defeat him, but I don't like how easily Agent Orange, Larfleeze is defeated. They should have had the fight continue a little bit more with that. But, other than that, this was really great. I recommend picking this up. This is not a jumping on point. This book doesn't really have a jumping on point. It feels like from issue 1 to now, issue 11, this whole thing has been one story arc in a sense. I mean, the first 4 issues and then the next 8, I guess, kind of work as story arcs. Like every 4 issues is a story arc. I kind of get that feel from the book. But other than that, though, this book really was just a, how do I put this, kind of just was a, phenomenal book. It's not a jumping on point, it's more like a, the leading to the conclusion of the story arc, but there's going to be a big conflict in the next issue. I'm really looking forward to it. Guys, you gotta seriously try this series out. It's phenomenal. The final book I picked up this week would be, this is the only independent book I read. I might read Shadow Man when it comes out in November, but that's for later. This is IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 12, written by Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz, and with art by Dan Duncan. I think this is Dan Duncan's last issue doing the art, which saddens me. I love his art in this book. But if you're going to go, you go out with a bang. And that's how this ends. This is the conclusion to the second story arc. And it ends great. There's a lot of fighting. It's basically the Hand versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's really good. Leo is really well showcased in this book. If you want to jump onto this book, this is not the best time. I would recommend next issue for jumping on point. But if you're hesitant on this book, don't be. It's a great book. It really is. It's one of my favorite books coming out. It's the only independent I read, so I guess I could say it's my favorite independent book. But I really just think more people should be reading this book because it is great. It doesn't get enough sales, I think. I think it's like in the 100 something, which is sad because it's a great book. I love the art in this. Hopefully, the new artist in the book should be just as good, but I really think I'm going to miss Duncan, or Mr. Dan Duncan. So, actually, I'm going to go and say this was the best book that came out this week, because thinking of my scoring, this was a 10 out of 10. It was amazing. It really was. Leonardo was really well written in this series. He's my favorite turtle before I read this, but even now he's great. And I love all the turtles a lot too, but you can really tell Kevin Eastman loves Leonardo. I mean, he really writes the character phenomenally. And that's what you want in a book. Someone who can properly express the character. And that's what you get here. So, that's it for this week. I might not do next week because I don't think I have any real books coming out next week. I might pick up Defenders issue 9 because I kind of read that on the side from time to time. It's an okay book, but it's not great. I really read it for Silver Surfer, in all honesty, because he's one of my favorite Marvel characters. Hopefully, it can pick up speed though. But that's enough about that, and I'll see you guys next time when I do my next video.